Welcome to Season 3 of the Fish Wrapper Podcast. Our goal is to bring you story content to inspire, encourage, and uplift the soul. It's our hope you find these stories refreshing, thought-provoking, and motivating as you face the challenges of everyday life. So turn us up and tune your ears, and let's get started by jumping right into the story.
Because of Love, read by Kirsten Bayshore. A brother and sister made their usual hurried, obligatory, once-a-year visit to the little farm where dwelt their elderly parents with their small herd of horses. The farm was where they had grown up and had been named Lone Pine Farm because of the huge pine which topped the hill behind the barn. Through the years, the tree had become a type of retreat to the old man and his wife, and a landmark in the countryside. The young siblings had fond memories of their childhood here, but the big city hustle and bustle added more excitement and called them away to a different way of life. The old folks no longer worked the land, for the years had taken their toll, and just getting out to the barn on those frosty mornings was quite difficult. But it still gave them a reason to get up and a reason to live. They sold a few foals each year, and the horses provided joy and contentment at day's end. As they prepared to leave, the children confronted the old folks. "Why do you not at least dispose of the old one? She is no longer of use to you. It's been years since you've had foals from her. How can this old, worn-out horse bring you anything but expense and work? It makes no sense whatsoever to keep her." The old man looked down at his worn boots, holes in the toes, scuffed at the barn floor, and replied, "Yes, I guess I could use a new pair of boots." His arm slid defensively about the old one's neck as he drew her near with a gentle caressing and rubbed her softly behind the ears. He replied softly, "We keep her because of love. Nothing else, just love." Baffled and slightly irritated, the young folks wished the old man and his wife well and headed back toward the city as darkness stole through the valley. The old couple shook their heads in sorrow that the visit had not been more pleasant. A tear fell upon their cheeks. How is it that these young folks did not understand the peace of the love that filled their hearts? Slowly, they turned toward the house to retire for the night. Regrettably, no one had noticed the insulation smoldering on the frayed wires in the old barn. None saw that first spark fall. None but the old one. In a matter of minutes, the whole barn was ablaze, and the hungry flames were licking at the loft full of hay. With a cry of horror and despair, the old man shouted to his wife to call for help as he hastened to the barn to save their beloved horses. But the flames were roaring now, and the blazing heat drove him back. he sank, sobbing, to the ground, helpless before the fire's fury. His wife, back from calling for help, cradled him in her arms. Clinging to each other, they wept at their loss. By the time the fire department arrived, only smoking, glowing ruins were left, and the old man and his wife, exhausted from their grief, huddled together before the barn. They were speechless as they rose from the cold, snow-covered ground. They nodded thanks to the firemen, as there was nothing more anyone could do. The old man turned to his wife, resting her white head upon his shoulders as his shaking old hands clumsily dried her tears with a frayed red bandana. Brokenly, he whispered, "We have lost much, but God has spared our home. Let us gather strength and climb the hill to the old pine where we have sought comfort in times of despair. We will look down upon our home and give thanks to God that it has been spared, and thank Him that we still have each other." And so he took her by the hand and slowly helped her up the snowy hill as he brushed aside his own tears with the back of his old and withered hand. The journey was not easy for their old bodies in the steep snow. As they reached a knoll at the crest of the hill, they paused, breathless, inhaling the scene before them. Suddenly, the old man gave a cry of wonder and incredible joy, and taking his wife by the hand, he pulled her forward. There, beneath the old pine, bedded down about the old one, was the entire herd, safe. At the first hint of smoke, she had pushed the door ajar with her muzzle and had led the horses through it. Slowly, and with great dignity, never looking back, she had led them up the hill, stepping cautiously through the snow. The foals were frightened and dashed about. The skittish yearlings looked back at the crackling, hungry flames and tucked their tails under them as they licked their lips and hopped like rabbits. The mares that were in foal with a New Year's crop of babies pressed uneasily against the old one as she moved calmly up the hill to safety beneath the pine. And now she lay among them and gazed at the faces of the old man and his wife. Those she loved, she had not disappointed. Her body was brittle with years, tired from the climb, but the golden eyes were filled with devotion. Because of love. Only because of love. Tears flowed as the old couple shouted their praise and joy, and again the peace of love filled their hearts. The end.
We hope you enjoyed this story. We will have another for you in just a moment. But first, we want to bring you the sponsor for this episode. If your business isn't using key marketing tools, you could be missing out on valuable opportunities to grow. That's where Little Mountain Printing comes in. They offer powerful marketing solutions like postcard mailers, brochures to showcase your products or services, websites to attract new customers, and promotional products to show your appreciation to clients. With the right marketing in place, your business has the best chance to thrive. Get started today by calling Little Mountain Printing at 717-933-8091 or just visit them online at littlemountainprinting.com. Now let's begin our next story.
Smell the Rain, read by Kirsten Bayshore. A cold March wind danced around the dead of night in Dallas as the doctor walked into the small hospital room of Diana Blessing. Still groggy from surgery, her husband David held her hand as they braced themselves for the latest news. That afternoon of March 10, 1991, complications had forced Diana, only 24 weeks pregnant, to undergo an emergency C-section to deliver the couple's new daughter, Danae Lou Blessing. At 12 inches long and weighing only 1 pound and 9 ounces, they already knew she was perilously premature. Still, the doctor's soft words dropped like bombs. I don't think she's going to make it, he said, as kindly as he could. There's only a 10% chance she will live through the night, and even then, if by some slim chance she does make it, her future could be a very cruel one. Numb with disbelief, David and Diana listened as the doctor described the devastating problems Danae would likely face if she survived. She would never walk. She would never talk. She would probably be blind, and she would certainly be prone to catastrophic conditions from cerebral palsy to complete mental challenges, and on and on. No, was all Diana could say. She and David, with their 5-year-old son, Dustin, had long dreamed of the day they would have a daughter to become a family of 4. Now, within a matter of hours, that dream was slipping away. Through the dark hours of morning, as Danae held onto life by the thinnest thread, Diana slipped in and out of sleep, growing more and more determined that their tiny daughter would live, and live to be a healthy, happy young girl. David, fully awake and listening to additional dire details of their daughter's chances of ever leaving the hospital alive, much less healthy, knew he must confront his wife with the inevitable. David walked in and said that we needed to talk about making funeral arrangements, Diana remembers. I felt so bad for him because he was doing everything, trying to include me in what was going on, but I just wouldn't listen. I couldn't listen. I said, no, that is not going to happen. No way. I don't care what the doctors say. Danae is not going to die. One day, she will be just fine, and she will be coming home with us. As if willed to live by Diana's determination, Danae clung to life hour after hour. With the help of every medical machine and marvel her miniature body could endure. But as those first days passed, a new agony set set in for David and Diana. Because Danae's underdeveloped nervous system was essentially raw, the lightest kiss or caress only intensified her discomfort. So they could not even cradle their tiny baby girl against their chests to offer the strength of their love. All they could do, as Danae struggled alone beneath the ultraviolet light in the tangle of tubes and wires, was to pray that God would stay close to their precious little girl. There was never a moment when Danae suddenly grew stronger, but as the weeks went by, she did slowly gain an ounce of weight here and an ounce of strength there. At last, when Danae turned 2 months old, her parents were able to hold her in their arms for the very first time. And 2 months later, though doctors continued to gently but grimly warn that her chances of surviving, much less living any kind of normal life, were next to zero, Danae went home from the hospital just as her mother had predicted. 5 years later, Danae was a petite but feisty young girl with glittering gray eyes and an unquenchable zest for life. She showed no signs whatsoever of any mental or physical impairment. Simply, she is everything a little girl can be and more. But that happy ending is far from the end of her story. One blistering afternoon in the summer of 1996, near her home in Irving, Texas, Danae was sitting on her mother's lap in the bleachers of a local ballpark where her brother Dustin's baseball team was practicing. As always, Danae was chattering nonstop with her mother and several other adults sitting nearby when she suddenly fell silent. Hugging her chest, Danae asked,
"Do you smell that?"
Smelling the air and detecting the approach of a thunderstorm, Diana replied, "Yes, it smells like rain." Danae closed her eyes and again asked,
"Do you smell that?"
Once again, her mother replied, "Yes, I think we're about to get wet. It smells like rain." Still caught in the moment, Danae shook her head, patted her thin shoulders with her small hands, and loudly announced,
"No, it smells like him. It smells like God when you lay your head on his chest."
Tears blurred Diana's eyes as Danae then happily hopped down to play with the other children. Before the rains came, her daughter's words confirmed what Diana and all the members of the extended Blessing family had known, at least in their hearts, all along. During those long days and nights of the first 2 months of her life, when her nerves were too sensitive for them to touch her, God was holding Danae on his chest, and it was his loving scent that she remembered so well. The end.
We hope you enjoyed this story and will join us again soon when we unravel another adventure from the pages of the Fish Wrapper. We want to remind you that the full Fish Wrapper is available by print subscription. Each printed issue is jam-packed with story content, amazing recipes, games, jokes, and much, much more. Our readers never want to miss an issue, and you can order yours today by visiting thefishwrapperonline.com or by calling 717-400-FISH. That number again is 717-400-FISH. We encourage you to subscribe to this podcast, ensuring you never miss a new episode. and hit that like button so more listeners will hear these amazing stories. Finally, don't just settle on the newest release. Explore our past 2 seasons to hear more amazing adventures. See you again soon, and may our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ